CCIB is a center that is designed, among many other things, to change how scientists relate to each other. So that can mean how scientists relate across disciplines, how scientists relate across methodologies, and also how scientists relate across levels.
The program in CCIB really works to combine computational and experimental approaches to studying biological problems. And I think what makes us unique is that it's really not just on paper, right? The entire program is designed to really integrate these programs, and so that our students really appreciate the roles of both computational and experimental work in exploring these problems.
In biology, so much of that field has been historically experimental, but figuring out how to interpret the results of those experiments requires the types of approaches that people have in computer science or physics or math to integrate data into information. So one of the challenges there is that those two approaches are so different in the way that they approach doing research. There's a huge communication gap. And so part of what we're trying to do here is to allow researchers who are addressing similar types of questions to actually work together and talk with each other in ways that get them to the answer they need.
There are quite a number of interdisciplinary collaborations across CCIB, so I can give an example from my own lab. So I'm an experimental microbiologist that's interested in the physiology of lipids and membranes, and I collaborate extensively with and have grants together with Grace Brannigan, who's the director of the center, but is also a computational biophysicist. And so her lab is able to model how our bacterial lipids affect membrane physiology, and that in turn can drive experiments in our labs where they make predictions. We can test them experimentally and go back and forth.
It's really easy for us to obtain these collaborations with experimentalists and computationalists. We also get a unique perspective from the faculty who are in computational work or experimental work, just because the program is so integrative. We learn how to think outside the box. We learn how to approach the problems that we encounter in our graduate work differently. And we also can learn how to apply these approaches experimentally and computationally to our problem.
We aim for a culture here at CCIB that we call high support, high expectations. One of the main things that we try to do is, if we can explain something to students, we do the work to explain it. And that way they're not trying to figure out the unknowns that are known, right? But we just haven't told them, and they can spend their intellectual energy on charting the actual scientific landscape which needs to be charted.
We know that being a graduate student is very difficult, and we expect our grad students to work really hard towards their research goals. But in order for them to be able to do that, we have to provide support for them. So one thing that we do is we have something called success circles, which is essentially a peer mentoring group where the senior graduate students work with the more junior graduate students to help motivate them and deal with certain issues.
Our Codes for Life program is a NSF-funded graduate program, National Research Traineeship, which fosters in graduate students the ability to work across disciplines, as CCIB always does, but also specifically with students training to learn about the intersection between genomics and proteomics or molecular dynamics research. Many times those two disciplines, while we work on similar questions, don't have a lot of interplay. They don't speak exactly the same scientific language. And our Codes for Life program is designed to train students how to sort of cross between those disciplines.
The goal for me, right, is to give an industry perspective and mentorship to students to help them get a feeling of what it's like to work in industry, and in particular in kind of computational science groups, right? So the idea is more or less to give them that, what do we do in industry? How do we work with code in industry? How does that apply to science that we do day in and day out, right? And then help them guide through a particular project that they're working on in the lab to take it from some scientific code and turn that into something that looks like an industrialized solution.
I think this experience is shaping the scientist that I'm becoming by really trying to incorporate all different types of approaches and ways that we can tackle a problem. In graduate school, students are constantly trying to overcome obstacles, and the faculty are just super supportive. They're really dedicated towards their students' work and their future.
I hope that we've provided a different way to do scientific collaboration, a different way to do scientific training, and that it's raised the bar. And from my perspective, for scientific research, there is low-hanging fruit if you can learn to talk to the scientist that's sitting next to you. CCIB is really trying to help provide an example of the power of that approach. Science doesn't have to be as hard as it is. And if we can remove the unnecessary pain from it, there are a large number of open problems that we have the ability to solve if we can work together.